Things that only Janja is capable of doing, right? She responded to the German Chancellor's remarks about Belém, everything that happened. And she ended up making a blunder. Look, this time I'm going to tell you guys. Congratulations to the journalist from Cable News Network who managed to put her in an extremely embarrassing situation. And we're watching the press itself. Got tired, huh? Got tired. The banquet on the millionaire yacht. A gigantic banquet. Janja, right? On her luxury yacht. While the people are starving, look at the things that happened. There's a lot of money at Globo, and in this press, in this extreme press, these Partido dos Trabalhadores, supporting blogs, just to try to cover all of this up. We're gonna show everything here. The video is amazing. Hit that like button, smash that like button. We'll show it and cover everything from now on. Get news and updates here on the Paisa Filos, Fabiano Guigué channel. The journalist Helio Beltrán, right? Is that it? From Cable News Network ended up exposing the problems of this copy in particular. The $1 Million Feast, right? The $1 Million Feast. Is that it? It's getting a lot of attention. The statement, obviously, right, from Chancellor Olaf Scholz. If you stop to think about it, when you receive criticism, you can either play the victim or you can realize, wait a minute, I'm wrong. I need to improve in this area. Isn't that right? That's what these people should do. The guys brought all these people into the copy, but without any structure at all, right? It's Ignacio trying to suck money from the people out there. It didn't work. It didn't work. The world's biggest powers, some didn't attend, not even China. And Germany and the United States once contributed millions to this environmental issue, but stopped due to a lack of seriousness. The guy took it. Yeah, these people. In the city of Belém, there's a total lack of infrastructure. People don't have it. Look how absurd it is. Most people don't have treated sewage collection. Because, obviously, the Barbalho family, how many years have they misgoverned the state? It's a shame. We get sad, but that's how it is, right, my friends? Small town city halls, often people need to work, obviously, and they end up hiring a lot of them. Then it ends up in the hands of several politicians. Those guys always keep themselves in power. And I think those guys don't really care about doing anything. I think they just pay salaries to people there, and that's more than enough for them. Zero infrastructure. But look, right? That's how things are. This nefarious guy here. This is unacceptable. That guy, Eduardo Paes, wanted to stand up for the German Chancellor. Hello, the embarrassment was huge. The guy went there, then he deleted it. How polite my friends Igor Mornando and Helder Barbalho are, right? The mayor of Belém, the out-of-control governor of the state, I'll tell you what they were thinking. They called the German Chancellor a little Hitler. Narcissist. He's right to criticize the lack of infrastructure. If you go, you're invited to an event in another country. They promise you paradise and give you absolutely nothing. Especially these personalities who they have a huge worldwide reception. The guy is practically, right? A president of Germany, let's put it that way, it's a chancellor, but it's as if it were. We saw all the hardships that happened there, that Conference of the Parties event, right? Now, the mayor of Rio de Janeiro, who also contributes to the very difficult situation that Rio is going through, this Eduardo Paes. Many times we say, man, how does a guy like this get elected mayor, right? Yeah, calling the guy a Nazi, that's a very serious accusation. Silvio Navarro even said that. It's unacceptable to call an authority from another country a brat. Just because of a criticism about the fiasco of the event. The mayor wants to be governor of Rio de Janeiro. God, please give him a lot of guidance. Can you imagine if he can't even take care of the city of Rio de Janeiro? But isn't Eduardo P's that kind of folkloric politician? He hugs everyone, dances samba dances, does those marketing videos, right? It looks like the guy is swimming with ease, but we know very well, he's a real scoundrel here. Look, remember his conversations with Lula back during the Lavish days and all that? Yeah.
Holding his little foot. I always have to tell you something, sir. My life started with Lula and Cabral and ended with Dilma and Pezon.
You, sir.
Do you know how much I'm suffering? It's just a pain.
That's it, just that. But see how things are, and fate is often cruel. This sellout here, the one you're seeing, Brazil is in this situation. Because of this nefarious guy here. Thank God he will never be elected senator again. He won't win, he knows that very well. Yesterday, he got the fateful news, right? Elected in 2018 with the anti-Partido dos Trabalhadores speech, that he was anti-Partido dos Trabalhadores, right? That's why he ended up winning there in Minas, right? At the time, when Dilma Rousseff was leading the polls for senator, then, when the ballots were opened, she didn't win. Not even if Joanna wins behind the garden. Passed over for the Supreme Court, the now Lula supporter fears a tough 2026 defeat and won't run for office. If he loses badly for governor, he'll lose badly for senator too, and return to being a congressman. That's only fitting for personalities like Gleisi Hoffmann, who was a senator. Because, of course, back then, when the Partido dos Trabalhadores was swimming in money, handing out cash to everyone, left and right? They did everything and got elected. Now, with social media, people know exactly who is who. She had to step back and return to being a congresswoman. Right? Because there's still that base there that ends up voting for her. Now today, for Rodrigo Pacheco, for example, it's over. It's over. His situation fell apart. He doesn't win anything at all. Can you imagine him wanting to be a congressman again after 2 terms as Senate president? Twice, I saw it. It was sad, right? But his situation is chaotic because in Alcolumbra's case, it's even easier. He needs fewer votes in Amapá. So someone as nefarious as him can get elected. Now, Rodrigo Pacheco. In Minas, the Electoral College is much bigger, so he needs a much larger number of votes. Now, he can't make an anti-Partido dos Trabalhadores speech anymore, right? Because he is Partido dos Trabalhadores himself. Pure, plain and simple. He definitely can't claim to support Bolsonaro, right? It's over for him. Imagine losing the spot to a guy like this. He dreamed of a seat on the Supreme Federal Court. Losing the spot to a guy like this here. He lost. It would be the crowning achievement for Rodrigo Pacheco, right? After everything he did, blocking the impeachment and all that. Losing to Bessius, oh man, that must really hurt. The Attorney General's office knew about the flaws in the National Institute of Social Security, and Messiah spared Lula's brothers' union. How can someone like that be a Supreme Federal Court minister? And why am I saying this here? Next year's the year of payback. We need to elect serious senators, with 2 for each state. They are the ones who will determine the destiny of authorities who are committing the worst atrocities here in Brazil. It's not just me saying this. Now, even Estadão has gotten involved. What's happening in our country is unacceptable. And yesterday, look how cool, the chamber ended up approving a project by Darite. Which, for example, prisoners, right? Who voted for Lula, we know of 5 prisoners. 4 voted for Lula, 4. Now, they will no longer be able to vote in Brazilian prisons. Look at that. Lula got 80% of votes from imprisoned voters. Lula had a wide lead over the other candidates and could have been elected in the first round if the elections had taken place among provisional prisoners who were able to participate in the electoral process. That alone, I think, says a lot, right? my friends, Marcel Van Houten, celebrating this victory, which was a huge win. Did we see why? An inmate has a family, he does. Let's say his political propaganda to the whole family, and the whole family ends up voting for the one who's there in that situation, right? That made a difference last year. Look at Marcel.
649 votes here, look.
Domingos, now in jail, can't vote anymore. At least in the Chamber of Deputies, our amendment was approved. Authored by the Novo Party, we submitted it, and with support from the opposition and even Partido dos Trabalhadores, you see.
Domingos.
Look, Adriana.
Congratulations. Lula must be furious since he's the favorite among prisoners and criminals.
The crowd enjoys doing the L.
Happiness, because Lula won. He made it. Congratulations, everyone. Great job, Marcel.
Marcel.
People talk about the issue with the Novo Party and all that. We can't generalize. Of course, there will be some like that. That's everywhere, everywhere. It's at a job here and in another profession there. Right? That's how it's going to be. You can speak freely. Feel free to talk to Marcel Van Rappen. Bye. He's not a good congressman. It's tough, right? We only see him being very combative, right? Of course, I'm gonna be divided in the Premier League, but not everything we, well, wish for happens, right? But that's fine. He's a young man who's been working a lot for Brazil. I always see him defending President Bolsonaro. I don't like the nonsense. For example, the clowning around that happened yesterday. Damares visiting Papuda with Eduardo Girón. Oh, come on, for God's sake. But now, let's get to the fun part that I was waiting to save for you guys. Janja. Look here. At the Millions Yacht Banquet, Helio Beltran ended up revealing it on cable news network. Let's see here.
There was no water in the bathrooms. The air conditioning broke down. There were security problems. There wasn't enough food. None of that happened on Janja and Duda's boat, certainly. They stayed there in privilege, some of them. There was a feast there, right? $1 million feast. There was no lack of food on Janja's boat, on Janja's yacht, right?
Do you think a yacht they rented for millions? A feast? 2 cruise ships. Imagine the party. It was a party all night long, that kind of thing. That's the way a Partido dos Trabalhadores supporter likes it, right? Let me even hide here. A banquet for Janja and the people who went to that flop there and all, right? Lacking everything. And the how are you going to pay? $25 for an old water bottle from $30 to $350 in
30, 50, 312. From 30, 350, 12 for the copy chief executive officer to complain about the mess in the organization. And maybe the master was suffering from the heat. It's probably tough for someone from cold Germany to handle the Amazon heat and stay cheerful, right? Then Eduardo Paes shows up acting like everything's fine in his city, right? Calling the master a Nazi. That's the worst kind of move from the angry left's playbook. Calling someone else a Nazi, right? He brought Lady Godwin from the internet to the real world. Yeah.
It's absurd, right? But Janja wouldn't stop there. Janja loves herself, right? She went to talk about this fact, right? And the cable news network journalists caught her red-handed, huh?
He likely hasn't had a pakaka, seen a carimbo, or been to a sound system party. Now he has, not yet.
Look at that. She wanted to talk about the car. He didn't go have Pakata. He didn't go have Pacambo. He didn't go have, I don't know what. He didn't go have it. Then the reporter said, "And did you go?" No, not yet. Guys, she's so hypocritical.
He likely hasn't experienced it, had a pakaka, or seen a carimbo.
The journalist continues looking at the camera. I'm gonna ask the question that'll break her.
In a carimbo outfit, he likely skipped the sound system party. Now it went, not yet.
It's very hypocritical, guys.
Not yet.
Oh my God, man. Wow, only a kid could get this anxious. Share this video on WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook. Smash that like button, hit the like button. Subscribe to join our family. I'll return soon with more news on the Parents and Children channel, Fabiano Gigay.